So, for those of you who don't know about Anchor, let me tell you all about it. First of all, it's free. Anchor has creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast too with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Download the free Anchor app now or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome to another episode. We are going to continue the Uncorked-N-Conversation at happy hour. The ladies are still catching me up on the goings on in the world. Some people get their news and hot topics from TV, online, or social media. But when life gets busy, I just go to my girls. We uncork, and like wine, the conversation flows. Cheers!
Here in America, we have some of the richest people in the world. I mean, America has money.
Speaking of money, of money, did you guys see the interview of with Oprah with the
she didn't change the direction again with Meghan and Harry.
What happened? I know about the interview she did with Harry and Meghan. So something happened after that.
No,
girl.
You
it's
just
the
walk
questioning.
away, you know?
It's the questioning of the baby's skin color for me.
Honey,
Oh my God!
Honey, speak on it. How can? But see, let me tell y'all this. And then I'll be quiet. How dumb can you be when you look at this fair-skinned Black woman? Her mother may be a shade or two darker than her, but she's still light bright. Dad is white. What you thought he was gonna come out looking African? What? I'm just maybe it's just me.
I mean, I can understand why that, because color can't skip a couple generations. You know,
but do you see? Wait a minute, hold on now. Come on, April. Come on,
I'm not condoning it.
But then how dark is the child gonna come out when dad is pale as vanilla ice cream and she's light like butter pecan? How dark?
I have a problem with questioning it at all, though. I have a problem
with that too. I have a problem with that.
Absolutely, but my thought is, where's your brain?
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Racism. Oh, is that what it is?
Racism and colorism. You got to think racism and colorism because really. What?
Sorry,
what you said?
You're being facetious, aren't you?
Me?
No.
You didn't think racism was in Britain?
Not in the first. Yeah. It's not in the way how it is in America, because they always say, we don't see Black, we don't see white, we see.
I think they might be lying, April.
We see Irish, we see Scott. They got all the Scottish jobs. They always down in them, you know.
But you know what, April? I think Meghan.
Yes.
I think Meghan Markle's interview renounced that mindset. I think they do see it. I don't think it's true.
They may not.
I think they're bragging about a lot.
She called it out.
For them to have the concern.
She called it out from the royals, though. You're talking about the royals, the high ups. If we talking about common people like you and me, they have mixed marriages over there every day, all day. I mean, just
and we have them over here too. But that racism
even more
exists
over there, because the Africans go there. The Africans even send their kids there to be raised by people until they can get there. So they have had an influx of Black and white couples way before we even did.
I get that, but that does not minimize the racism there. There's still that undercurrent of you can't be dark. And it's racism as well as colorism.
I think their definition of racism is different than ours. I think they kind of separate themselves from nationality versus black and white. You're African, European, you American, we are, British. So their definition is a little different, even though it is the same damn thing.
I was gonna say it's the same thing because they may just say that because it's more palatable, but it ain't palatable to me.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Because really they didn't want Meghan. They don't want Meghan, and it's simply because she's a person of color. Whether she looks like it or not, she is a person of color. Therefore, she's not good enough for them. And that's their belief.
Did the same thing to Lady Diana. I think maybe it's just their way. They didn't like her either. And
they didn't like her. Yeah, they didn't like her. But I really think that was a different thing from this racist mindset that, in my opinion, has been exposed. It's bad.
I get that. That just adds another layer. But the underlying issue is no one is good enough for the princesses unless they sign off on it.
Right.
But they also have, Princess Diana still, and I love Princess Diana, don't get me wrong. But she wasn't, although she wasn't treated well, she wasn't treated like Meghan. And there was no, we're not going to allow your child to be a prince. Come on.
What? Wait, huh?
Oh, baby. So you didn't see the interview?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah.
What?
They just stripped all of that. Yeah. They came over here because he even left his money. No inheritance, no all that kind of stuff. They came over here to start over, and they've started their own multi-million-dollar company. So I think it's a tech company or something like that. But when they got over here for the first 3 months, they were living in Tyler Perry's house in Los Angeles, and he also provided security for them until they found their own place. They let it go. They let it go. And for a while, his father wasn't talking to him.
So the reason why I kind of have a different take on it, have you guys seen The Crown?
I have not seen The Crown.
I didn't watch it. Yeah, I haven't.
If you see The Crown, Queen Elizabeth's father was not the first in line. Her father's brother was king. He advocated the throne because he fell in love with the woman, kind of like Harry and Meghan. So they gave him a choice. We don't want this particular woman because she's divorced. She's not good for our country. We don't like her. He said, fine, I will give up the throne and I am going to live with my wife. Mm-hmm. So Elizabeth's father became king. This whole time, they ostracized him. He had to live in France. He could not live in London. He could not live in the UK. They literally barred him from being a part of the royalty kingdom. Mm-hmm. So that is something that they do.
Yeah, and I guess that's really classism, really, by definition.
It really is. But here's the thing. They still, to this very day, blame her uncle, Queen Elizabeth's uncle, for advocating the throne because she wasn't really supposed to be queen. And all the things that she's dealing with now, she blames the uncle. So it's just how the dynamics of that whole family situation is crazy. It's absolutely insane. So now you fast forward to 2020, 2021, you have this other element of a Black woman in with, so to me, there's a whole nother issue under that. They don't see that as racism, even though it is, but it's just how they are. They are screwed up.
Yeah, they are. And I'm okay with them not seeing it as racism, but it is what it is. And for them to come out and say that Archie would never be a prince, and then they didn't give her a reason.
knowing that the reason because he got black blood, but they wouldn't give him a reason. And
they didn't give her a reason, but Harry knew.
I'm sure
because of the conversation, that because they never had the conversation with her. They actually had it with him, and she talked to him about. I mean, he talked to her.
But they never said that was the reason why they wouldn't allow him to be royalty, why they wouldn't allow Archie to be a prince. They would never say that was the reason, not even to Harry. They wouldn't give a reason.
They would never say it, but that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's some heavy BS, man.
Yeah, that thing floored me.
I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, girl, you've been missing it.
So now it's like, okay, I knew how like the queen and everything. You know, I respect the queen. You know,
and then April,
I'm gonna have to readjust some things in my mind.
Yeah, and go watch that interview. Make sure you watch it.
Okay. We come back to the United States and Colorado.
Girl.
The shooting, right?
The shooting, yeah.
Okay, that's all I know. It was a shooting. And
okay, wait.
So
do we want to do the shooting or do we want to talk about Atlanta?
Oh, right.
Well, they're both, because both things, you know, first of all, let me just say how devastating both events are. Don't want our audience to think we're taking any of this lightly at all.
Right.
And as we refer to Atlanta, you guys all know we're talking about the attack on the multiple massage establishments, where I believe it was 6 Asian people that were killed and 2 Caucasian people killed by a single gunman. And then we've got the terrible deadly shooting in Boulder, Colorado. What was it, 11 people killed, including a police officer? Yeah.
Right.
Wait a minute. I didn't even know about that.
Both of these gentlemen are 21 years old. Let's not.
Yes. Both are 21 years old. Yes. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah.
And another 21-year-old man walks into a grocery store just in full combat gear. He had the chest protector on, he had an AR, he had gun and all. He didn't shoot anybody or anything, but he walks, and you know how intimidating that's gonna look, walking into a grocery store. And he walks into a grocery store with all that.
And he was a black man.
Say what?
Oh, it was a black man?
That's a black.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think he was in his 20s also, Paulette.
Oh, wow.
So is this like a 20s epidemic of stupidity? What's going on?
Well, I think what's happening is that the younger generation, their social media, they don't know this, and they're on this pandemic, right? This is just my take. I'm no therapist, and I don't know a damn whole lot of nothing, but
you got opinions to say it.
My opinion is valuable.
Yeah. So, and yes, it is.
But I just think that social media, these kids at this age, they're, some of them missed school the last 2 years. So some of them didn't get the opportunity to graduate. So I think a lot of them, and again, these are not making excuses, but a lot of them are missing their peers. They're missing the social contact. They're social media people, but they still were at least contacting their friends and so forth. I'm hearing that the guy there in Colorado, he was bullied in school. Some of his friends said he was bullied in school. The guy there out of Atlanta, he apparently had a sex addiction, and these women or these massage places were, I guess, rubbing him down, and he became addicted to it. So he felt like he needed to eliminate them so he can eliminate his addiction. Now, the one that Paulette just spoke on, no one really, I have not heard much more about what his deal was, but they did show his arsenal, and he was ready for combat, whatever. He did not do anything. I don't know if they foiled it. I don't know if he came to do anything, but he was armed and damn very dangerous if he had acted on anything. So I said all that to say when April said, what is going on with these 21-year-olds? Who really knows? Some of them have, and, a lot of us have been on lockdown, but a lot of these kids are on this Ritalin and they're ADHD. They've been diagnosed. They're not, probably being monitored on their meds. They're not going to the doctors, to be supervised or analyzed or whatever.
I get with that. And some of them hasn't even been diagnosed. So they don't even know that they're experiencing it. So I definitely agree with that. I think
both guys, the Atlanta guy and the Colorado guy, they bought their guns, one, I think the day before. The Colorado guy, I believe, bought his the day of. I'm not sure.
No, 6 days
so
before.
The 3 day, what happened to the 3 day rule or something?
The guy in Colorado bought his 6 days before. And keep in mind, guys, gun laws are different state to state.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So it's
they need to be a universal law.
And to shoot up that grocery store like that. I mean, you killed, what is he?
11 people.
11 people. Including an officer, a police officer, first on the scene.
The first one on the scene. And Tracy, you bring an interesting perspective, because I hadn't thought about that age group, that specific age group, that early 20s, 21 years old, having been impacted in this way. Their last 1 to 2 years of school has been interrupted in such a way that something that we've never seen, something that no one could tell them how to cope with, because we've never seen it. So I hadn't even thought of that. As these shootings have been brought up, of course we've heard the correlation to Asian hate, which it doesn't sound like the situation in Atlanta was under that umbrella of Asian hate or a hate crime, although we don't know. I believe the investigation is still ongoing, but they're talking a lot about his sex addiction as the reason why he targeted the massage establishments that he did.
So let me interrupt you for a second. So just so I can understand. So he had a sex addiction and he went to these Asian establishments for massages. Is it because they don't do happy endings and he was mad and upset?
Oh, I'm sure they do happy endings.
They were doing happy endings.
Oh, then he should have been happy. Why go off the way he did?
The addiction.
Well, it's his. He needed results.
He needed more.
So
it's an addiction. He wanted to get rid of the addiction.
Yeah, he wanted to rid.
So if he gets rid of the Asian women, he think, because it's a distorted thinking. He's not thinking rationally.
Because people that have a sex addiction or a porn addiction, I've even heard about it with porn addictions.
Yeah.
Any addiction, you're probably not rational, but they are not rational with.
They are not in their right state of mind. They have a whole level of thinking that's like not touched with reality.
And you have to think something different happens in your body when you climax. I ain't trying to take it to after dark. I'm gonna just say, honestly. So when you get that,
which will be coming this summer in 2021. Let me finish with school, okay? I got a lot. I got a lot of intense frustration I need to get off my chest.
What they say at the end? Woo!
Y'all terrible. But really, seriously, I just we've heard sex addiction with regards to the young man in Atlanta. Like I said, this is the first time I even thought about the perspective of their ages. Because there was nothing said yet about, in the investigation in Colorado, there's no motive that they've discovered at all yet, right?
Well, apparently they're saying that he had some mental illness.
From bullying, from being bullied at school or something.
Two of his friends said in school that he was being bullied. Now, he could have gone to the grocery store prior, and he may have felt like he wasn't treated right. There were some young adults there in the grocery store. maybe that was someone who bullied him. They're still
Oh,
like
wow.
What I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. That came across my mind.
Maybe he wanted something from, because I think one of the people that were killed was a manager. Maybe he wanted something from the manager, and she wasn't holding her mouth right, if I may. And that's, again, with all due respect, she didn't say what he needed, what he wanted to hear from her. And they said he walked in, opened fire. I mean, he just opened fire. He opened fire outside as well.
Outside, yeah, right.
And
so did he come in before and walked out and got his stuff and came in, or did he just, that was his true intention?
I think that's part of the investigation as well.
Yeah. Wow.
But they are saying that he was considered to have some mental illness. Apparently his family is devastated. I'm sure they are, because you don't expect anyone, your child, your loved one, to go off and do a mass killing as such. No. And Colorado has had their share of
school
tragedies. Yeah, this is crazy.
Yeah.
So clearly there's some mental instability involved, it sounds like, in both of these situations, which is troubling. Again, because we are in a pandemic right now, people are struggling, with mental illness, I think in greater numbers than we've ever seen before. I've heard people talk about gun control. Got some opinions about that, but people are saying, we have to make guns less accessible, have there be a stronger screening process for guns. I don't know that I know what the answer is at all, but when I hear people in particular talking about gun control, my thinking is, if I peel back an onion and I'm trying to get to the root cause of something, whether you make it legal or easy legally for me to get a gun or not, if I want to shoot something up, I'm going to shoot something up, right? I'm going to find a way to get a gun and shoot something up. I'm not going to necessarily go the legal route, because what I'm about to do is not legal anyway. My thinking is that the mental health issues are more of a root cause for all of this that we're seeing. And it seems like these active shooters that we're seeing it more and more and more. In April, I hate to bring it up, but you experienced this yourself in Las Vegas. With the Vegas shooting a few years ago. So
right.
I don't know that I know what the answer is.
There's no right answer, because it's such a muddy water. It's like trial and error. Let's try this, maybe that'll work. Let's try that, maybe that'll work. And it's just not working, because there's so many different variables. Because like you said, mental health, a lot of these individuals has not been diagnosed. So how can you determine I can't sell a gun or not? Because I don't know. He seemed okay to me.
Exactly.
So you wait just 6 days. What are they going to wait? 6 days or 30 days? If they have the intent to kill, they will do it.
Right. And then later. None of them had any background history of anything, so why not give them the gun? You know what I mean?
Right. You don't know. And then as a gun distributor or gun seller, I really don't want that responsibility.
And just like work violence. I mean, you can be at a job for 20 years and one particular somebody pisses you off, and you get pissed off and you'll go and come back in a day. You may not even plan and just shoot up the place, So it's just hard to govern that mental health thing where a gun and purchasing is concerned. Because
I agree. Yeah.
A person could be of sound mind today and a self-destructive tomorrow.
Yeah. You know what I mean? But going back to what April was saying, being a distributor, you don't want that on you. And I understand you that personally, but because I have been in the market myself recently looking for something small for home protection, those gun distributors and especially online, because you don't see and talk to anybody, right. But these stores around here, honey, those people, they hire ex-military, they hire ex-police officers. And I've talked to, I can't tell you how many of them, and only 2 of them stick with me as far as really knowledgeable about the safety and all of that good stuff. But the owners and stuff, all they care about is getting the weapons in
You're
and
like,
getting
which
them
one
sold.
you want? This one,
Right,
this one.
because
Wow.
the demand is so big right now
Yeah.
that they can't even, some of them can't even keep them in. Some of these places, like the old places on Granby Street, what is it, Bob's, I think it is.
Yes.
Man,
Yes.
he barely has anything in there.
Mm.
And
Wow.
Freedom, things are going off the ship. Superior, somehow they're just staying fully stocked, so somehow. But then when you start to go look for 9mm ammo, oh my,
Yeah.
they are off the friggin'
Wow.
chain these days.
Yeah.
For one box of 50, they want $40.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah, $40. That's the cheapest I've seen.
So maybe
So
that's
y'all-
maybe that's the workaround. We can sell you guns, but the ammo is going to be pretty damn hard to get.
Well, I feel like they're going to get it anyway. If I'm going to break the
Right.
law, I'm going to break the law. I'm going to figure out
She's
how to
right.
break the law.
Right.
You know, and guess what? If you make it hard for me to get a gun and I want to kill 15 people, I can come flying through there with a knife. Hey, come on, with a sword, with a machete. What?
But that's the thing.
But they
Americans
can
are
get them off the
freaking
street
lazy.
whenever they want to. So it don't
Americans-
matter. Like Linda said, if they
Yeah.
gonna do it, they gonna do it.
I can steal somebody's gun. Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you
But this
can.
is my
You can.
thing with mental health. You know, first of all, the first issue that I find is that this stigma that surrounds mental health. So I suffer with anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, which technically is a mental illness. I mean,
Yes.
it's not schizophrenia, yeah, but it's a
yeah.
mental illness. It is something that is caused by a chemical imbalance in my brain, and it affects me mentally. I react to it. My body reacts to it. It's a real thing. But mental illness is such a myth in people's minds. People don't want to, Americans, and I don't know about the rest of the world, but I can tell you for America, we don't want to admit that there's a mental health issue with anybody. For years, all my life growing up, people didn't talk about mental health. They just started talking about mental health with the generation, with our kids' generations. They didn't really talk about it when we were teenagers, you know? So we have to address
nothing. What happened in this house stays in this house.
Right.
Because think about it. We didn't talk about premenstrual. We didn't talk about premenstrual syndrome. We talked about it as far as you getting cramps and such, but no one talked about the imbalance that you experience. And then as I got toward the age of menopause, you know, when we were younger, they didn't even call it menopause because they didn't want to bring attention to it or bring stigma to it. So they called it the change of life. So there's been this resistance.
Yeah.
There's been this resistance.
But America has always had a stigma with that because they use anyone with a retardation or mental illness,
right,
whether it's behavioral or emotional or mental, they used to hide them up in the attics.
Yes, I know.
You would never hear of this child ever.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it was always a hidden thing. And so it's another dirty secret of America. That's what we do. We like to bury all of our little secrets, but it's uncovering. This has been an age of everything's coming up to the surface.
And it's come to the surface because it's happening in such large numbers. More,
and especially during COVID, it exposed so many things that's going on. Racism, Black Lives Matter, colorism, everything has been uncovered. When you got the politics are also uncovered, how people really feel. Oh, I'm not racist, but you do racist things. So what is that? You know what I'm saying? It really brings a whole lot of things to light. It really has.
Yeah.
So that's, I would say,
like all my friends are Black.
But therefore I'm not racist.
Right. I have Black friends.
Or my baby daddy is Black.
Oh girl, don't you start. I can't be racist.
Right. Or my sister's baby daddy is Black. My half sister's cousin on my mama's side,
twice removed.
So yeah,
But I really think something has to change. We need a revolution with regards to mental health. More mental health professionals. I've heard people lobbying for free mental health care. You know, why do we have to pay hundreds of dollars for mental health care? What do you mean?
Well, and I think too, though, Linda, and that people have to admit that they're having problems.
And that's where that stigma, yeah.
Some people just want to stay strong, and if you show that you have a mental issue, you looked upon, or they think that they're looked upon as weak, you know. And nobody wants to be weak. Everybody wants to be strong. Everybody wants to, you know.
And therein lies the need for inclusion. Therein lies that need right there. You know, we have to be okay with communicating that we're not okay. You don't have to be okay.
And that half the battle is admitting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and it is.
Even in this pandemic, as much as we are seeing the mental illness and that people are not okay, people are still saying, I'm okay.
They are.
Oh, yeah,
and they're trying to look strong.
And because we want to be okay.
We do.
That's what we
want to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
You know, the finish line is the prize.
I think we have to
start. It doesn't matter where you start. It's the goal, and what we've been told is how you finish. So everybody wants to get to the finish line.
Yeah, that's true.
Amen.
I know I do.
Yeah.
With the grace of God, that's all I want.
Amen.
Yes.
It's gotta be his grace.
I think we have to realize that part of self-care is being able to admit where you are, how you feel. We have to be okay with
knowing where how things could be, and they're not satisfied where they are right now. So you got to be aware where you are, be in the moment.
Yeah.
And we don't do that.
Right.
And I mean, I think I said this on one of our episodes is the more we go through, I understand living in the moment. I used to plan, but damn it, I'm living for right now.
You have to. You have to.
Tomorrow's not promised.
I never understood it. I didn't understand it. I had plans.
And it creates stress and anxiety to try to live in the past or to try to live too far in the future.
There's stress and anxiety right now trying to live in this damn moment.
You're right about that.
Ooh,
that right.
I'm out of line.
I feel like I'm in a box trying to live in this moment. Oh my gosh, it's rough.
Guys, I think Tracy's trying to tell us she's not okay. Did you say you're out of wine?
I'm out of wine. I drank.
Here you go, dear.
Thank you.
I know it's not a red wine that you prefer.
That's what friends
all
are
I
for.
have. That's what friends are for. Know that you can count on me.
I'm glad that we have each other. I have to say that. And you know, we listeners, guys, make sure that you just surround yourself with good people. Surround yourself with people that are going to let you be you unapologetically. You know, and that are not gonna, let you get away with any old thing. I'm trying to embrace kindness and gratitude daily. And what I'm receiving from that in return is kindness and gratitude. And if I can do that just a little bit more every day.
Attraction.
Yes.
You get back what you give. So
absolutely.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The better I can do that. And again, just like Tracy said, I'm no therapist, I'm no doctor, but the more I can do that for someone else, the better I feel about myself. Yeah.
My theory has always been, I'm not in this current challenge that we're all in, is just you just don't know what kind of day a person's having. So be kind. You may make a difference in that life. That person may have been getting ready to go to the bridge, pull over and jump. But by you saying good morning or making some sort of eye contact or anything.
A smile. just a smile.
You could have changed their whole direction. And so
that is so
kind.
true. That
Just
is so
kind,
true.
you know.
I did a class, and the speaker was saying that how she wanted to end her life. So she went to the bridge and she contemplating on what to do. And then a stranger came up to her and just smiled. How are you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Totally change her perspective.
It's not so bad. It's not, you know, and so unfortunately, the gentleman that went into the massage place, the gentleman that went into the grocery store, you know, they're saying that he felt bullied, but just maybe it could have changed his life if someone had just, you know, said hello to him, gave him eye contact. I'm big on eye contact. Eye contact, listeners, is huge. If you look someone in the eye, it recognizes it. It's recognizable. And that's, again, my opinion. I am an eye contact person. So it is very important. And it may just very well be because my mother used to say, look at me when I'm talking.
I was going to say the boomers had that impression. They impressed that upon us. The younger generation that you see, and younger generation, this is not a slam against you at all. Please know, younger generation, I am learning from you every day. So I appreciate y'all. Right. But the younger generation doesn't like that eye contact.
No.
Because they don't want to expose themselves. It's exposure.
Because in social media, they can hide behind that persona. So you look at me in the eye, I got to reveal that I'm vulnerable, that I'm human, that I got feelings. So they don't want that.
Yeah, the worth of eye contact is huge because
it is.
It's almost like I demand, you know, it's almost like a demand that you acknowledge me, that you respond to me, that you
it's contact, it's a connection.
Receive me, yes. And so they have no idea what they're missing. Yes. And so with that, I agree, and my heart goes out to those sentiments that you shared, that kindness is so huge, and it's always been a huge thing, but now more so, you know. And I just wish that we could hug, you know. I just wish that we were in a hugging, not you and I, not us at this moment, because what we can do is consider ourselves hugged. But if we were,
you just brought back memories before COVID. I'm sorry.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, and I'm a hugger, and I just think that a hug grabs energy from one place to another, and you never know how weak a person is and what a strength of hug can do. And so right now, y'all.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I went to Home Depot the other day and snuck up on a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in just a couple, 2-3 weeks, but it just made her day. She squeezed me so hard. And when I left, she was like, you don't know how much that made my day.
Yes.
You know? And I'm like, well, you made my day too, because we don't get a chance to see each other that often. So it is. I know we're not supposed to and all this good stuff, but we've both been tested, so it's all good.
Yeah, but it does. We're missing a vital piece of our being.
It is. It is.
Yes.
I miss y'all.
I miss y'all. We're going to get together soon. Uncorked summer.
We've got some things to look forward to, and but just let's look forward to them. I mean, you know, the vaccines or the vaccine. Let's might as well touch on that.
May as well. I've had my first shot.
Me too.
I'm not, guys. I've not had my My
Yes,
and
April. Yes.
I had mine yesterday.
April's had hers. I've
The
not.
first one.
And I am not apologizing for that. I'm just
You shouldn't apologize. You
No,
didn't have to make your
because
decision, girl.
it's
I'm
each
waiting my turn.
own. It's each
Yes.
their own. And,
Yes.
and when if you're ready, and if it's not, but that's your decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your decision.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And there are people that are pushing other folk to do it. And I get it. I do. I totally get it. And it is about we are all in this thing together. I get it. But I just appreciate the fact that I still have a choice.
Absolutely. And you're supposed to have a choice, and people need to allow others to make their choice. And that's that's how I feel about it.
So kudos to all of those that are vaccinated, and and I won't even go into what I've heard after, before, and during the vaccination of other folks. I'll just let again, people get their own experience.
Absolutely. And as people are vaccinated, we get to gather more data based, and see what's happening as more people get the vaccine. So,
well, since you mentioned that, Lyndon, I will go here. I just heard today, actually, and Anthony Fauci pretty much commented on it. I did not hear all of his comment, but apparently there are people who have had both of their vaccines who are still catching the COVID.
Well, the vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it.
And that's what I'm clear about. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it wasn't Dr. Fauci, but there was a nurse who said, they were speaking to her, and she pretty much said that she was not sure. She didn't want to speak out of turn, but she didn't think the people that have caught it had really bad symptoms. The symptoms did not hospitalize them or anything of that.
Right. That's the benefit of the vaccine, is that it's supposed to not allow you to get as sick if you do happen to get the vaccine.
Right.
Yeah. So and it's supposed to guard against needing to be hospitalized or any of that. And a lot of people have said, you heard different things. People say different things about the vaccine. Well, if it's not going to stop you from getting it, why should I get it? They kind of have to look at, think about the fact that it's a global pandemic. It has shut down economies, worldwide. And this treatment, because that's what it is. It's a treatment. It was fast tracked. It went through the fast track program with the FDA. It's to allow us to be able to get back to a life as normal as possible and open our economy back up, because that's been a big deal. If you listen to what the governors are trying to do in their respective states, the shutting down of the economy has hit people hard, and it has shut down, it's impacted the economy with having so many deaths as well. So if the challenge was to get something out there, get a treatment out there that would prevent people from having to go to the hospital and raise these hospitalizations and cause just everything to be shut down. So that is the idea behind having a treatment and it not being a cure per se, and that's just my 2 cents, on that.
Well, you know what, your 2 cents, I'll go ahead and double your money.
All right.
Go ahead and put 4 cents in. That's a great analogy, Linda.
And I think it is. That's just the way I've thought about it,
And treatment is probably the language that they should have used.
Probably.
Because that's what it is. It's a treatment,
Right.
So kudos to those. And surely I will get in line. I'm just not in line right now.
I understand. I totally understand. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go screaming, because I think Wendy Williams had lost a few views because she was adamant
Yeah.
The guy I think she was on with, he tried to twist her words and so forth, and she wasn't having it. She just said, I'm not getting it. And some people voiced, with her being a public
figure, yeah.
figure, she shouldn't have been so adamant and dominant. But why? She's being true to herself.
It's her opinion. It is her opinion.
Right.
Yeah. And as I stated, as more people get vaccinated, we're able to see the data, to see, how people are affected by it. And although it was fast tracked, it has been deemed as safe. So it is identified as a safe vaccine. It's been checked for safety. However, people still have to make their own decision. And if she lost views, she probably also gained some views,
And I personally don't think she lost any. I mean, because people making their own darn decisions.
One thing we didn't talk about yet, y'all. Kirk Franklin.
Oh, yeah. What the Kirk? Honey,
we done lost April.
Let me start off with that one, because can't nobody tell me the reason why that man went off like that, because that spoiled ass brat did something to piss his tail off. So I don't need his apology, because I understand a child will take you out your doggone pocket. And if you 33 years old, you sitting up there recording your doggone dad because you want to put him out there, why ain't you put out there what you said to make him even say that? And why do you even have to go through that at 33 years old? Boy, you better get your damn life.
Tell us how you feel, Paulette.
Franklin.
Don't hold back, girl. Go ahead and tell us how you feel.
Oh, I was so hot when I saw that.
April, you back. Did you see the Kirk Franklin situation, him and his son?
I heard, but I could have sworn I heard that before.
What you mean?
I could have sworn that we've been through this before with him and his son.
I don't remember either. You may be right. He said there was some toxicity, a history of toxicity there. Yeah.
He just a spoiled brat is what he is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel that this is familiar to me.
And I think Kirk, because Kirk moved on and started another family, he felt obligated to cater. And this boy, nothing was ever enough, because the bottom line is he wanted his father where he was, and Kirk had moved on. Yeah. And then, kids are funny. They feel like, you chose this woman over my mom. Like Ramin and Misha, their dad, they still say, well, Ramin said for a long time, I wish you and my dad would get back together. This boy is like in his 20s, and he's still wanting me and your dad to get back together. That shit is not going to happen, kid. But again, they never heal. They look at, if I made the fairy tale, because it is a fairy tale.
Right.
Mother, father, children, a big old house, white picket fence, 2-car driveway, and plenty of money. So he fell short on some shit,
Because we gotta look at it. Divorce has a huge impact on children. Whether they are
not just divorce, just a breakup if they were
just
never married. All of that.
Because Kyrie, when Kyrie's dad and I split up, Kyrie says to me, Mom, I thought y'all were happy. Because that's all they see. That's all they want. And I told him, well, I'll explain it to you one day. And then, life happened, and I had to sit down and give it to him raw dog.
Yeah.
Because the dog be raw at the end of the day.
But as when relationships end, I've read that there's a grieving process there because it's a loss.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And knowing that grief has so many stages, you have to think about it, because first of all, the people in the couple are suffering from a form of grief, and then the kids are suffering from their own form of grief. So
they don't know what happened today.
But it doesn't matter to the kids. it doesn't matter to them. All they know is what used to be is no longer is,
because they're not
they
privy
have a
to
grieving right. So
and then I could just speak to what I think Kirk Franklin went through, because what I found myself, because I chose to leave my marriage. I chose to leave for whatever the reason. And so what I found myself doing was trying to just cushion everything about Kyrie, just like making sure this was right, and whatever he asked for, I tried to do. And then I'm telling you, after about 3 years, it just looked like to me Kyrie was playing me. And I was like, oh hell no, you ain't playing me.
Because you were overcompensating because
maybe
you felt guilty, or maybe it was something that you was going through.
Right.
But kids are smart. Kids are so smart.
I was trying to be both things to him. The thing that I shortchanged him from, I was trying to be both those things. And he was just playing on it. And I just said to him one day, I said, look, I'm not doing that. I said, it is what it is, son. We are no longer with your dad. We are going to have to get along without him. This is the way the situation is. And I had to, of course, give him that tough love on the journey, but he realized this the way this the way this thing gonna be. Because see, what I call it, and I have to do this from time to time, I have to reintroduce myself to Kyrie. So that was me reintroducing myself to Kyrie. And just recently, Kyrie's 22 years old, I had to reintroduce myself. And I don't mind reintroducing myself because he obviously forgets who I am.
Let me reintroduce myself.
I like that. Let me reintroduce myself.
And so Kirk Franklin
had to reintroduce himself.
He reintroduced himself. That's right. Have mercy. Yes. I will put my foot on the stand.
Who said let me
disrespect me?
Who was that said let me
clear my throat?
Who was that? Sometimes you gotta clear your damn throat.
No, shoot.
So I ain't mad at
you. Fresh. That take it fresh. Yeah. Or DJ Cool, one of them.
One of
DJ Cool.
DJ Cool.
I'm not mad. I'm like you, Paulette. I'm not mad at him.
I'm not mad at no. And I'm not mad at how he came off on it. You know what? Okay, Christian, I understand the hot dog.
I'm gonna ask you a favor then.
Oh,
I did not hear the video. Can you kind of elaborate on what exactly Kirk Franklin said?
He did say, I'll put my foot on your neck, something. He said something.
See, I didn't hear. I just hear about the video. I never actually heard what, and then the tapes that I did try to hear, they were very, very grainy. So I didn't hear. But whatever it was, it got people talking, and it looked like Kirk Franklin, everything I've seen, because he did something with Tamron.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
And also his son's mother spoke up too.
She did.
And she did not leave him out there to hang dry.
Right.
He was like, she said her son has not wanted for nothing. He was always loved. You know, she put a whole big statement out. But the bad thing about the video is the way his son did it is that, like I said, his son put it out just making Kirk Franklin look bad.
Right.
He didn't put out the part of what he said or what he did to antagonize his father.
There was no context.
To make his father come out that way. He didn't put that part out though.
Right.
And again, we're accountable.
I look at those other sides. When you put that one side out, you just gonna show me what he did. Right. I need to know now the other side. Now, when I was younger and wouldn't think, I would be like, oh, Dad, that was wrong. But no, now I know there's two sides to that coin. And you playing one side right now, young man. And you playing with fire, because I'm not gonna play that either. I don't care how old I am. Don't you come and disrespect me. We can talk all day. We can have a conversation. But do not come and disrespect me. I will bring my baseball bat out and my trigger finger works.
Yeah.
Well, I will say.
So in other words, Linda, 1 second here. So in other words, he made Kirk Franklin lose his religion.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna say this because I'm struggling with the verbiage of he made him, because honestly, we're accountable for our reactions.
So Kirk Franklin lost his religion.
He did. But here's the thing: Kirk owned it. He did.
No way you could lose that.
He said, I reacted in a way that I shouldn't have reacted. I used words I shouldn't have used. He said he I don't feel like he owed the public an apology.
I don't either.
But he did admit what he did, and he admitted that was wrong, and he moved on, regardless of what. And he gave us a little bit of background as to what's gone on in the relationship. But he owned his own actions, and that I do appreciate.
Well, and what I appreciate, and you know, I'm hearing a lot of folks say he didn't owe the public an apology, and I say the same thing. But what we have to understand is that the public made him who he is. If we hadn't bought his records and we hadn't listened to his music and we hadn't, you know, followed him and so forth and so on, he probably wouldn't be as far along. So what he wants to assure his public is that that guy said some things, that guy that you respected and loved and you purchased records and you've listened to and you know, you've honored to an extent, that guy lost his temper.
His credibility matters. His credibility matters to him.
And that's what he wants. That's what he wants, his fans, his public. And most of all, I'm sure he's asked God to forgive him over and over again.
So how is that any different than that Derek guy?
Well, I'm going to say this on that, because this is just my opinion. I just believe he is a master manipulator. That man is a master manipulator. I don't care what he said on the camera. I don't care how much he apologized. I don't care that he held his wife's hand and talked about that. I don't feel like he's a good guy. But again, that's only my opinion. I believed Kirk.
Well, and Derek is a master. He's a master of deception. He didn't only deceive his wife, he deceived his listeners. He made his listeners believe he was one thing and he turned out to be somebody else. But what I'm realizing is that he was telling his story, and that's how he knew what kind of guy not to date so well. Right. Because he was telling us inadvertently who he was.
But what April's saying is
somebody need to write me a check, damn it.
But what April's saying is he kind of did the same thing Kirk Franklin did. He's positioned himself as this one thing. He did some things that are against that are not the same as what he has presented himself as, and he publicly apologized. He did do the exact same thing.
I don't think they're the same thing though.
It's the same. Okay. No. It's the same thing. Now, as far as you believe in one over the other, one is genuine in the other, but it's the same thing.
He did the same thing. I just don't believe it was genuine. Yeah.
They're trying to save face. They're trying to appease their public.
I see where you're going with that. I see where you're going with it.
Okay, but
as far as actions are concerned,
But I'm gonna tell you this. I remember a time when my son, he was 17, 18 at the time, and he bucked at me. Now I'm only 5.
He's a little taller than you and thought he could get fly, huh?
He's not 6 feet, but he's like 5'11", almost. He's not quite 6 feet. But yeah, he thought he can flex on his mama, right? I pulled his butt right up against the wall around his neck, and it surprised the hell out of him. He was like, oh my God, Mom, I had so much strength. I said, don't you ever disrespect me, ever. So kids will drive you to do and say things out of your character. Now, you look at me, you don't think, this girl.
No,
she's not like that. Trust me, They will push you.
And I appreciate everything that Kirk Franklin did. And I understand what you guys are saying. Totally. Yeah. 100%. And I know that there is 10 million doggone hypocrites out there that want to damn him for what he did because of who he is and all of that. But Me, like you just said, Linda, your perception, your thoughts, the way you think. First thing I know about a person is that they are human.
Mm-hmm.
We are human. We are sinners. We are saints because we keep on trying. We keep on trying. We're going to continue to have adversity. We're going to continue to have things that's going to make us do things that we shouldn't do. We are people, and people want to put people on these pedestals. And then as soon as they do something, bang, there. They want to knock them down. They want to tear them down. They want to be a hypocrite about it when they doing the same stuff behind closed doors. And that drives me nuts. And the media, oh my God.
Yeah.
The media and social media, they just jump on it and they just condemn a person. And that's just, he don't deserve a life because of what he did.
That's one of the other reasons I don't want to.
As bad as, I'm sorry, Linda, even as bad as, and the manipulating stuff that Derek did, he is still young. He's still gonna have to learn and grow from that crap. He's gonna have to hurt. He may even have to hit rock bottom before he even realize what he has done. You know, and I'm just being honest about it because I do care about people. And when stuff like this happen, I just look at myself. When things happen, people just want to bring you down. But you need somebody to say, look, man, you know, what you did was wrong. You really need to get some help for it. And you need to take a step back and take a look at your own place. Your wife is the one that's hurting there, man. And that's wrong for you to leave her out there like that.
Yeah. And I feel you on that. That's another reason I don't want to continue to talk about Derek Jackson after this is over. I knew we had to talk about it for the sake of the episode, but it doesn't conjure up good feelings in me, and I don't want to be that judgmental person. I don't want to sit in judgment of somebody. I feel like he will, again, he has to face himself. He will live his life. He has to, you know, go through whatever healing he needs to go through. But I don't want to give my energy, because I don't want to give negative energy by sitting in judgment. I've said what I needed to say. I said what I believe about him, and I'm gonna just leave it there. That's just, you know.
Feel you.
Okay. All right. Since we offered Derek Jackson, what's really going on?
We offered Derek Jackson. That ain't what we said.
Well, let's get off of Derek Jackson, because I'm gonna just say this.
Okay.
I'm gonna just say this. This is pretty much what he wants. He wants the conversation to be kept on him. So let's get off of him. But we can get on Governor Cuomo.
Oh.
Okay, I'm lost on you. Have to catch me up on that one now.
Go ahead, Tracy.
What happened?
Yeah,
there's some accusations going on.
Maybe we should take this to the next podcast, because
we will do that.
He's ongoing. I can just briefly say it's an ongoing investigation about him. I think there's up to 6 women who have come.
Okay.
Come on.
I just haven't heard anything hardcore. I mean,
well, and apparently they want to impeach him. They are starting an impeachment trial. Governor Cuomo, I won't be vulgar. I won't. But Governor Cuomo pretty much said he's not stepping down.
Yeah, they asked him to resign. Somebody asked him to resign. I can't remember who was calling for his resignation.
What they want him to do. But he's, and like you, Linda, there's really not anything substantial. There is some hearsay. And let me just say this. I am a woman first. I've got granddaughters. I've got a daughter. And so, no, I would not want my granddaughter to say that someone assaulted or disrespected them. And I take it lightly. So no, I'm not taking the fact that these women have come forward saying that Governor Cuomo did this, that, and the third. But where were they? I mean, when do you, and that's what, well, here's the thing. A lot of times, and some of them, apparently there's one who just came up who is a current employee, but these others are previous. And then there's one who's she's 20 years ago with her accusations. Her 20-year ago accusations are that they were in a room together. Apparently he was having trouble with his cell phone and she went to help him with it. and he, I think, went under her t-shirt or her shirt or something. And as far as I know, she never left the room. She continued to help him with his cell phone, or whatever the case. But that again was 20 years ago. I think there's one as recent as I think maybe like right before the pandemic. Apparently there was a party, a wedding or something Cuomo went to, and this young girl, pretty much, she worked for him, and he grabbed her face and asked her if he can kiss her or something, and she was mortified, horrified, and she texted her friend and said, "Hey, the governor's trying to sleep with me," and blah, 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 blah. But he never asked her to sleep with her. He asked her for a kiss, and he says that he kisses everybody, men, women, boys, children, dogs, cats. I mean, he's just a kisser. Usher said you're just a good kisser, right?
Okay, so Usher was talking about something else.
That was a different kisser, baby. That was a different kisser.
And maybe Cuomo was too. But so Cuomo, and just to kind of wrap it up a little bit, Cuomo pretty much said that he never meant to, disrespect anyone. If he said something that was out of place, he apologized, but he by no means was he trying to come on anyone. But again, as you stated, Linda, nothing substantial.
Right. I didn't see. Yeah.
This woman 20 years ago said he groped her up. But nothing, in my opinion, to make him step down as far as those accusations are concerned. But they're now also bringing up the fact that there were many people that died in the nursing home over there. Right. And he cooked the books or cooked the numbers. He said it was less, and it turned out to be more. And now they're bringing up that he apparently, I think when the vaccine first came out or something, he pretty much made sure his friends got the vaccine. So they're digging deep, and they're trying to pull out a ton of stops.
It does seem like they're digging. I think it's because he's got a big mouth. I mean,
Well, he's not going to back down.
He doesn't back down. He ain't no punk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he wanted to be, or he was being considered as attorney general. I think not attorney general.
It wasn't attorney general? I thought it. No, I guess it wouldn't be attorney general.
No, it wouldn't, because that's doctor. But I think
I really think they're scared he's going to run for president.
And that's what I think. And as he should, because he's definitely material. I mean, he handled the pandemic in there in New York so well. I mean,
he did. He
got up there and he gave people play-by-play, whether they wanted to hear it or not. So, and those
that's
things
the problem that I have
with leadership.
That was timing. That's the problem I have with the timing of all this. After all he has done for New York, and he's done great things under the pandemic, and then now all of a sudden, now that Trump is out of office, all these women come about.
It seems like a witch hunt.
It does, and so I don't know what to think.
Right, I agree.
I think they're just trying to find something to prevent this man, because they feel that he can be a potential good runner for 2020.
I mean, he was presidential when he was running the pandemic. His leadership was outstanding.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And I know that the investigations are ongoing. I know we'll see what happens, or what the truth. I believe the truth will weigh out. I believe the truth will win out. So,
we'll see. What? That's exactly what Governor Cuomo is saying.
Yeah.
However,
he seems unbothered, which I like.
No, he's bothered.
He probably is, but he's handling it well, I think.
He handled it the same way the governor of Virginia, when the racist pictures came out, they were trying to call him and tell him to say to step down. He was like, no.
Even the lieutenant governor, they wanted him to step down. Sure did. Just where he is, somewhere still sitting. But now Bellagio, the mayor, I think he should you know what? I think that he should just quiet down, not shut up, because that's what I really mean. But I think he should quiet down because that is still his counter. You know what I'm saying? They still work together.
Right.
Until you find out the facts, then just quiet down. He's saying, oh, he can't lead and this and that. But they were just gunning for him a couple months ago for him to sit his ass down somewhere. So
he's deflecting.
Pardon?
Yeah. He's deflecting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So just stop it. Let's just clear. And you know, the pandemic is so real. We're still fighting for our lives, particularly New York, because apparently there's some variants through there and people are being hospitalized again. So let the governor do his job, the mayor do his job, and let everybody do their job instead of this distraction, because that's what this is. This is a huge distraction. And so, and what Cuomo was doing for a very few minutes, he came back. He says, I'm going to do my job. So he still started trying to have the press conferences or the conferences where the numbers and so forth. I haven't seen any of those things lately. He's not been doing that because, again, he is fighting for his life. He is bothered. You say he looks unbothered, but he's bothered.
He appears unbothered. And maybe he's not having those press conferences. Maybe he's been advised not to right now while it's, while things are so hot. I don't know. Yeah.
And he is hot. I think he's a hottie.
He's a good looking man. He's a good looking man.
No, he is. I think so. And that's not why I'm not siding. I just think fair is fair. And if Donald Trump can grab women by the pussy, he can go ahead.
Where's the glass? Clink it. Clink the glass.
It's empty. I mean, if he can grab, you know what I mean? If he can do that, then they can go ahead and leave Cuomo right on alone. And
she said what she said.
I'm just go ahead. I did.
No. Thank you for spending time with us today. It has been truly rewarding. Please keep in mind as you go through your weeks, as you go through your days, be kind. You never know what people are going through, as we mentioned. But be kind, show love, and as Tracy always says,
be well.
Thank you for listening to Uncorked-N-Conversation. This podcast is co-hosted by Linda White, April N. Brown, Tracy Langford, Paulette Irvie, and Sarita Bostic. It is produced and edited by April N. Brown. The music is by Ben Sound.